I again request all of you to please settle down so that we can start our session without further delay.
Yeah, we are trying to set
Good afternoon, everyone. We have a very interesting session now, which the theme of this session is the next year of space-enabled maritime connectivity. So we are no longer just limited to space, but also moving towards maritime, or trying to find where both the global commons intersect. So that's very interesting, and we have very interesting moderator and panels for this particular session. This session will particularly explore how space-enabled connectivity enhances maritime safety. A concern is certainly raised by international lawyers and those who are into security. So that is there. And enables smart ports, optimizes cargo logistics, and ensure uninterrupted offshore communication. We have experts who will discuss infrastructure investment and industry collaboration. With that, I welcome our moderator for the session, Mr. Ahluwalia from DDG Satellite, DOT. Thank you so much, sir. Joining him is a panelist, Mr. Kumar Sundaram, Senior Project Manager, Anglo Ship Management. Welcome, sir. We have next Mr. Rajdeep Sinh Gohil, Director Sales, AsiaSat. Welcome, sir. Thank you. We have next Mr. János from Bonn, Hungary, Electronics. Welcome, sir. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, and you can correct me if it was not right. Mr. János? Next, we have Mr. Ajay Jethwani, Vice President, Sales, India and Africa, ABS Global. Welcome, sir. Thank you. And we have Jairam, Senior Director, Hughes Communication. Thank you all the panelists and moderator to join this session, and we look forward to have some lessons, some key takeaways from this. So with that, I hand over the session to moderator. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello. Thank you very much. I welcome all the participants and my co-panelists. And today's topic has already indicated, that is the use of space, how the space technology can enhance the maritime safety, security, logistics, and overall operations of the maritime business. So maritime, as we all know, that is how many ships, the major transportation of the goods, services, energy. Generally, it is carried out by the ships, large number of ships. And you will just imagine, as of now, around 5 to 6 lakhs ships, they are just in the ocean, and they are going from point A to point B, one country to another country, carrying goods, carrying oil, diesel, and passengers and all things. So, and the business of a country, the trade of a country, mainly depends on the maritime business, maritime trade. The maritime, you must have just heard that in the Middle East, there is a talk of that maritime is being restricted or something. There is hue and cry in the world because all of the business gets affected by the maritime business. And maritime is not a new thing. For the hundreds of years, the maritime has been taking place, the business has been taking place through ships, and ships are moving from one country to another. In that scenario, the Columbus could discover America because he moved on the ship and wanted to come to India, India path and India voyage, but ultimately he went to America. So as of now, so once this much of this thing is there, that maritime is there, so we have to have proper connectivity, proper security, and proper safety, and the things have to be enhanced so that the business, the trade continues. So our panelists, expert panelists, they will well onto that, and the main thing is that connectivity has to be provided. The communication has to be provided among the ships, and from ships to the ports, and to their respective organizations, headquarters. The communication has to be there. And the crew and the passengers and who are traveling in the ships, they also have to, because they will be, for a long time they will be on the ships, and they have to be properly connected. And the communications have to be foolproof. Earlier, there used to be, communication used to be through HF, high frequency, VHF. Then if the ships come near to the ports, then it is 3G, 4G, 5G, the cellular, they get hooked onto that. But if they go beyond the ports, they are in the deep sea, oceans, then how the communication has to be there. The communications is through satellite. The space comes into picture. And that's why the role of the space for the maritime communication, maritime connectivity is very important. And in space also, then earlier there was an Inmarsat doing the kind of the maritime connectivity. Then came Intelsat and other satellite operators also came into this thing, and various frequency bands. Inmarsat was using L-band for a very narrow band connectivity. Then there was a requirement of the narrow band is only for distress or small connectivity, messaging and all. But the crews on the ships, they have to have the broadband and videos, and without that things won't move. And what about the logistics, the containers, that also has to be tracked properly, and the tracking devices, and they have to be, and the tracking devices, if it is in the deep sea, they have to be through space only. The space only can be better. Then KA band also come into picture. And with that, there's a lot of the connectivity issues and the port issues. Then finally, now it is a digitalization, the whole world is moving towards digitalization. And the ports are becoming AI operated, and ports have to be managed. And all those things, the complete ecosystem has to be developed, and with the help of space, provides a reliable communication. And once the whole ecosystem comes into picture, and whole ecosystems have to be developed, so then only the maritime trade can go on uninterrupted. So that is the basic background why this is important, what is the role of space communications. We have 3 service providers, satellite service providers that panelists with us. One, we have the equipment manufacturer, the ground segment and the space segment, and the RF equipment we have with us. Because that is also, the equipments have to be there, and the equipments have to be the foolproof equipment so that they don't fail in the adverse environment of sea, because in the sea a lot of things get destroyed, and the rusting, sea rusting, and all everything happens. So, and one we have co-panelists is with the shipping management, the overall, from point A to point B, how the ship is to be hired, how the crew is to be taken care of, how the crew the problems and welfare and all those things have to be taken care of. So, so that the panelists will listen from our panelists and then well on to the and carry it forward discussions. To start with, then first I will try to introduce my panelists, and in fact they will be introduced by themselves. And to start with, I will introduce myself. I am Ahluwalia, and I have over 25 years of experience in SATCOM and various activities of SATCOM, right from policies, planning, regulation, project executions, and all. I work with the Department of Telecom and BSNL, BVNO, and now I'm on advisor board and try to help the SIA or all satcom industry, so that because there is a boom in the satellite industry once again, and a lot of things can happen, and there's a lot of scope in the satcom business, and satcom can be it's not a complementary service or something, it is a main service now, and it will help the humanity in a larger interest. So with this, from my right side, we can start. You can introduce your experience and about your company, whatever you do. So accordingly, one by one, we will introduce ourselves. Then we'll go to the maybe further detailing to and further dwelling to the stuff.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, friends. First of all, thanks to SIA for giving us this opportunity to be part of this panel. My name is Ajay Jethwani. I'm working with ABS as VP Sales based out of Dubai, taking care of India and African markets. ABS is a fast-growing global geo-satellite operator. We today serve 93% of the world's population with a wide fleet, including KU, C, and K-band beams. Our business model is B2B, where we offer capacities, raw capacities to our partners, teleport partners for deploying data and video services. As the markets are moving more towards the managed services, we have created an ecosystem in partnership with ground infrastructure, teleports, and with system integrators to offer end-to-end services, which can serve various market segments, including MNOs, mobile network operators, maritime, broadcasting, government agencies, and so on. So we are a global company with a presence all across and headquarters in Dubai now. That's about ABS.
Kumar.
Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to the post-lunch session. I hope that we can keep this session interesting and keep you away from the cell phone flicks also. My name is Kumar Sundaram, and I am currently working with Anglo, which is a ship management company. For those of you who are not familiar, we manage ships for third parties. So we take care of the crewing of the vessels, take care of the maintenance of the supply and procurement cycle on the ships. We take care of the operations, port A to port B, throughout the life cycle. We take care of maintenance, regulations, and compliance also. I joined Anglo in 1988. When I was 12 years old, I had this trip on a naval ship with a neighbor who was working in the Navy, and that put me on to saying that I want a career at sea. I didn't join the Navy, but the Merchant Navy back then. And I joined Anglo in 1988 as a junior engineer. And 2 years after I decided to go into the Navy, I also developed a keen interest in computers because that was an emerging area. So I sailed for 15 years and then shifted across to my career to the IT industry. So the last 20 years I've been in the IT industry, in projects, in development and consulting, and now I'm full scale back to my original company from 2019. I'm working on business transformation projects, primarily digitalization of all our vessel operations. Traditionally, the shipping industry has been very slow to move into using technology, because we always thought it's all in our heads, we can learn it from there, and a few paper forms are enough. Unfortunately, with increasing compliance, complexity of not only vessels or regulations as well, it's not possible in today's environment. Communications from ship to shore form the key part of today's business. During my time, if the propeller stopped turning, we were in trouble. Today, if the satellite connectivity fails, there's a huge problem. So it's a big difference from what it was before and where we are today. We've had satellite communications since 1962 or 64 when the first geostationary satellite was launched. But it's been only since 2016 that we are actually seeing the influence of satellite technology, especially with the introduction of LEO satellites, which are basically low Earth orbit satellites that are between 300 to 1,000 kilometers above the Earth. This has changed the game, and we have been one of the first players to get into this because our management was cluey enough to see the value and the benefits in getting here. So I have been managing our communications project, primarily the Starlink implementation across our fleet. Today, we are the biggest ship management company in the world in terms of technical management. We have about 750 ships with about 42,000 seafarers, out of which some 36,000 are Indians. And we are monitoring these vessels 24/7. It's a huge challenge. We have about 30 offices around the world, and communications has become the key word, and a lot of our existence actually is primarily because of the fact that we have improved communications. COVID was a turning factor for us. Pre-COVID, most of the shipping industry was in a lull, thinking we can get away without digitalization. Post-COVID, as soon as COVID set in, the whole game changed. Today, everyone is up, looking for options, looking for solutions. And I hope that we can share some of our experiences down the line. And hand over to my next panelist.
Mr. Rajdeep, how is going to be in our
Yeah. So I'm sitting in two avatars right now. Good afternoon, everyone. My previous avatar has been Director of Sales at AsiaSat. Thanks to the new space policy and the opportunity that lies in India, I started my startup called InOrbit Space. So I'm Managing Director at InOrbit Space. So right now I'm in my two avatars, talking about the maritime connectivity, given the fact that my experience lies with both, while my future lies with InOrbit Space. Some of the experiences that I'm looking forward to share is from the AsiaSat. So, as many of you in the room, given the fact that you are here post-lunch for a space-enabled maritime connectivity, assuming that you all connect with the space industry, so you would probably know that AsiaSat is a satellite operator, Hong Kong headquarters, and AsiaSat has been providing services in India since 1992. Now, particularly in today's context on the maritime services, I'm particularly looking forward to share some of the best practices and the services that AsiaSat provides in the maritime domain. And that doesn't limit to a GEO, LEO, L-band or S-band satellite, because we as a service provider have agnostic platform which consists of 24 different satellite beams, which is across the globe, along with multi-orbit solutions, catering to the dynamic requirements of the maritime user. And that could be large merchant vessels, that could be mid-sized fishing trawler, or a cruise sort of a connectivity or a yacht sort of connectivity. So we are very agnostic when it comes to the maritime sector, and we do each we category differently. So in this session, I look forward to share some of the experiences and the best practice that we do, and how we can implement in the current Indian context to sort of propel what the vision of India is to grow to a 5 trillion economy. Because we all understand today in this room that if India has to grow, India's maritime trade has to double. And in order to grow and double the trade, connectivity plays a very pivotal part. So therefore, we're looking forward to share the best practices and the services that we provide in this sector. Thank you.
Mr. János.
Good afternoon. My name is János Solymosi. I'm the company founder and director for space and defense of Bonn, Hungary, the biggest space technology company in Hungary. The company was established in 1991, and since then the main focus or the main competences of our company are related to RF and microwave, almost every part of that one, and the satellite communication, both the ground segment and the space segment. We have a long heritage of developing different types of subsystems, both on board and the ground segment, starting from LNAs, frequency converter, SSPs, digital modulators, coders, whatever they are. And we have some experience in this maritime connectivity projects. 50 years ago, we developed the first digital communication subsystem for AIS satellites, and that successfully completed, and that acquired more than 8 years of flight heritage with great success. And now we have also current projects. This is an onboard SDR-based digital receiver also for AIS service to be installed on board of the Sentinel-3 new generation remote sensing satellites. The prime contractor is Thales Space. So we acquired quite a lot of experience of doing this type of things, and then since space and defense are highly overlapping technologies, that similar solutions can be found also in the defense area as well. We are a highly export-oriented company. 95+% percentage of our export content, and we are represented in 18 different countries, including India for 30 years, represented by KAP Instruments. So we are here, and I hope that I can contribute to this meeting.
Mr. Jairam from Hughes.
Thanks, Mr. Ahluwalia. Thanks, János. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Jairam from Hughes Communications India Private Limited. I look after products, new products, both in the terrestrial, non-satellite and satellite space, and satellite MEO, GEO, MEO, everything. Then alliances with global service providers and marketing. Hughes has been in India for the past 30 years. We started our services in 1995, and we started as a pure play VSAT service provider. And over the period of last 30 years, we have evolved into the leading enterprise managed service provider of the country. We are I would say, leader by far as far as the VSAT installation is concerned. We have around 75% of the total installed base working on our network in India, around 175,000 VSATs. Apart from that, we are we have a unique product called Hughes On, which is nothing but converting a consumer grade LTE into a enterprise grade, or I would say MPLS over LTE. We have 50,000 plus links running for enterprises for the past 10 years. This product has got a lot of innovation awards also. Apart from that, I would say we are one of the top SD-WAN OEMs in the country, and that's a pure made in India. Entire product has been designed by us, and of course manufactured in India. We are one couple of the largest SD-WAN deals to Indian Oil and Hindustan Petroleum Corporation in the last 2-3 years. Apart from that, we have these two put together is around 20,000 installations, and in addition, we have 30,000 installations across SMEs. Now, India still, I would say, maritime, flight and maritime connectivity opened up for Indian VSAT service provider only from 2019. In fact, the FMC authorization came only in December 2018. We were the first one to get the FMC authorization in February 2019. And ever since we have, I would say, in the maritime and offshore space, we have serviced 100 plus vessels. Now, when I say maritime, I'm just trying to give a context. It includes offshore energy, offshore rigs, different type of rigs, jack-up rigs, static rigs, floating rigs. Then we are talking about fishing boats. We are talking about merchant vessels, cargo vessels, tankers, specialty vessels which come into India to go under the sea cable, laying of undersea cable. We are talking about exploratory vessels. So, I mean, we have served the entire gamut. There's a wide spectrum. So, I just thought I will clarify before we start going into detail what maritime means to us.
Before we go further, I would like to understand, because the maritime or the ships, or it's not just mere sending messages and managing the things. There is a human factor, and there's a lot of crew members on one. The bigger ships will have hundreds of people, and they will be there in the ship for months together. I'll just try to understand from Mr. Kumar, because he is a overall ship management, because they manage large number of ships, and one of the largest ship management company. How that digitalization is a keyword, and the services to be provided to the crew members, and that has to be done. And earlier they were using other methods of communication. Now the space communication has come. Now earlier there was the geo services available with the smaller bandwidths and all. Now there's a LEO services, the Starlink and OneWeb is also coming up now, and other large number of players, they are planning to have constellation of satellites. I will just try to understand how that space, that latest space trends has been helping you to provide the services, the digitalization services to your crew members and the whole lot of ecosystem.
Thank you, Mr. Ahluwalia. This has been my passion, and I have been living my dream for the last 2 years on this project. In 2000, I had this vision of having software systems on ships that would directly connect ashore. And I spent a year building a product, and it could never see the light of day simply because the satellite services that were available then were not, I would say, economical enough to be able to do that. Today, the scene has actually changed. And then, even during that time, even when I was at sea sailing around, a phone call from a ship would cost about $17 per minute. And that would be a combination of radio telephony or VHF radio connected to a shore station and then forward. So it would only be dire emergencies. We were of the letter writing age, which I think today's generation doesn't even know what it is. So compared to that, today on a modern seagoing vessel, the master receives about 300 to 400 emails. And this is the master alone. Okay. So our dependency on communications has become so huge, and technology is also kind of, I don't know what creates the drive, whether it's the availability of technology that then we fill up or the need that then technology fills up. But with the advent, as I said earlier, in 2019, we started seeing LEO satellites coming into play in commercial roles. In 2022, our company decided to go in try these out on about 12 ships as an experiment. We had a couple of owners who were willing to take the risk. 2 weeks into the trials, I was a project manager and I did the installations and the whole setup myself, directly connected with the Starlink team in SpaceX. Within 2 weeks, I think we had the owners calling me up and saying that forget the 16-week trial, we want to go live on all our ships. So at the end of the 6 weeks period, we had actually done 50 installations. Instead of the benefits that we have reaped are unbelievable. I mean, I've got case studies, that can go into pages of what are the key things that have helped us. So let me give a quick overview of this service. So first of all, it's very easy to install. We did it ourselves with our crew. We sent the equipment on board and they did it. Connecting was very smooth, and the entire management and operations also was something that did not require special knowledge. We could train ourselves up very quickly. Cost-wise, it was close to $1 per GB of data, which, given the complexity of the delivery mechanism, is ridiculously cheap. Compared that to $10, $12 on other geostationary research systems at that time. So we suddenly had this hugely abundant data source available, and then the application started. I think the single biggest application of this is getting our crew connected with their families. I think nothing else has been bigger than this, because it's a very harsh and rough life at sea. I spent 15 years, and there have been many moments when I wouldn't know whether I would make it to the next day or not, given the scenarios out there. And you can't stay in touch with your families. So now we have WhatsApp calling, we have video calls, we have people who can connect directly to their families. We have a plan of 1 GB per person on the ship. Masters and the chief engineers, the top management get 2. And this enables them to utilize it for their own personal work as well as official work also. But most of the office work is done, we have separate bandwidth for that. They use this. Some simple examples that I couldn't have dreamt of in my time is a father attending his daughter's birthday, at sea. Someone attending a wedding. People actually learning. We have yoga classes. On 21st June, we had 8 vessels connecting up to a shore-based teacher and live broadcast of yoga classes. So the entire crew on board did yoga. We have a series of revalidation programs required for people to rise up in ranks. These exams are now done, and studies for that are taken into account from the ship itself. People that attend classes, people doing MBA programs. So further education, attending seminars like this. Last year we had a biennial seminar in Mumbai where we had 1,200 of our seagoing staff attending live. We had over 100 ships connecting remotely with a crew of 20. So suddenly everything is so close by. We could never ever envisage that. We do multi-ship meetings. We have vendor demonstrations of products. We have Q&A sessions. We have troubleshooting, remote troubleshooting with cameras. So We can now take a camera anywhere on the ship thanks to Wi-Fi networks that we create using the LEO services. And we can go to locations where there are problems and then actually have an expert from shore giving us advice on how to fix things. Previously, it was left to us. We would at the most be able to send a few messages and have to get feedback. Whereas now, the person can see what's happening and they can advise us on the best course of action. We have 7,500 computers and 750 servers, data centers on our ships. Highly complex, ship staff is not trained for that. This used to be a major source of delays for us. When we had a problem, it would put down the system and then we had to send technicians from the shore. Average $2,000 per visit to look and troubleshoot. Today, ever since we moved into the LEO services, it's an almost zero cost for us. We remotely access and control the environment. We fix things also. And we've chosen a good network design where we bifurcate, the business, the crew, and the OT devices, so that there is a very good cybersecurity practice also that we follow in that. So it has enabled us to have a more secure environment for all our operations. Remote inspections are also happening, especially during COVID time. Many of our auditors could not visit the ships, but thanks to the connectivity speeds that we have, we were able to actually get into a Teams meeting and get into the vessels directly and walk around the ship inspecting what is going on. Getting advice from makers also on problems and showing, like we have paint manufacturers, we could actually show them what was not going well with their paint, and they would advise us on whether it was an application problem or a product related issue. So that made these are small things. The list is really ongoing, and every day we are coming up with new ideas. Today we have even started direct broadcast of IPTV streaming. So on many of the vessels, people watch the IPL, they can get daily BBC news. So there's a sense of more of being at home than feeling totally disconnected for months on India. Each time I remember when I would go out for 6 or 9 months stint, you come back and it's a very different way to what's happening today. So from a crew welfare perspective, it's an amazing change. There are a lot of negatives that people spout, but personally, I have done surveys on the 450 ships, and we've really not had anything that says that people get addicted to it or they don't focus on their work. We have not had any of those kind of scenarios. And there are still a few owners who are skeptical about it, but we are convincing them also to see the benefits of how they are able to not only have a better crew who can then operate safely, but also have a lot of savings. We are using the system to transfer data from a lot of our systems. Telemedicine is one of them, so we can have direct calls with shore-based specialists who can video in to examine a patient on board. Previously it was and never possible to do this. So diagnosis was always on the basis of hearing someone describing or getting it on messages. That's made a huge difference to safety and life at sea. Monitoring. Today we have a lot of compliance related data that needs to be analyzed in terms of carbon footprint, the fuel consumptions by the ships, weather routing also on the basis of optimized route in terms of safety as well as consumption. All these data now goes directly from the vessel's computers, from the machinery to shore-based facilities. And this then has the experts ashore who can analyze this data and share it back with us on directions, because ship doesn't have all the expertise, but now we have access to the expertise because we are able to send the data out in real time so that they can see what is happening. We've got CCTV cameras that can ship feeds going ashore, that go ashore, and people from there can also monitor especially during cargo operations, check for stowaways. The number of applications only goes up with every day. I think I can keep going on this, but we can catch up on this. Yeah. Thank you.
It's right. Once we are all connected, we cannot live without our smartphones. How you can imagine the persons on the ships, they should be left on these services. They also need to be connected. For that, services are there, platforms are there, but that space link is also required. That is, high-speed space links are required. Again, the role of the space communication comes into picture. I will ask Rajdeep Sinh from AsiaSat or in orbit, whatever it is. What are the major global trends in the maritime and what your companies, AsiaSat or in orbit, what are your plans to tackle that?
So I think Kumar went on overwhelming
Let's take
to
5 minutes.
evidently state that the difference space-based connectivity has made to the vessels. I would use it word neutral vessels. Okay. So that's very evident. So I'll tell you where we come into the picture. We come into the picture when this connectivity goes off, because he has largely stated the kind of difference that LEO satellite has made. Unfortunately, LEO is not everywhere. So therefore, as a platform that AsiaSat has called SIA-INDIA, it's a multi-orbit satellite-based solution that we offer to the maritime customers, right? As I mentioned, that it could be the large vessel owners, fuel tanker carriers, right, LNG terminals carrier, or there could be the small fishing vessels, or could be stallers. So what exactly today the SIA-INDIA platform of AsiaSat offers is an ability to give customer low Earth orbit satellite connectivity, geo satellite based connectivity, L-band connectivity. So, Anglo is our customers, and just to take a right example, they have a lot of vessels going into China. Now, China doesn't permit LEO band, so 20 days or at least about 2 to 3 weeks, there is no connectivity. So that's where we provide a geo-based connectivity. So therefore, an overall ecosystem of connectivity is very integral part of this overall solution. While he has definitely amply made it clear that LEO has completely changed the way how the connectivity has been and the solution has changed the applications. So SIA-INDIA provides the complete global platform which consists of LEO, GEO and L-band. There are also areas in the sea where many times we provide 2 geo satellite solutions because of the look angle issue, or there are dark spots are there into the sea. So there is also an L-band. L-band, as he mentioned, there are number of email solutions that they need to remain all the time connected. So we also provide the L-band connectivity. And along with this, since we have a tailor-made offerings of the SIA-INDIA platform, we also offer a managed box solution. Because not all the companies into the maritime industries are as big or as sophisticated as Anglo. There are companies which have 5 vessels, 2 vessels, there are companies which has got 10 vessels. So not all has that evolved ecosystem. So therefore we offer them the services which is a complete managed services. So meaning that today maritime connectivity is not about just connecting on a satellite, but also giving them a managed platform, meaning that there are under the deck router and the firewall system that sort of ensure basic level of cyber security and connectivity aspect, and a VPN to these vessel owners, because the connectivity is also in a 2-part. One is core for the captain and second is for the crew. So we manage those kind of comprehensive solution into when we offer to the maritime services. At the same time, when we go to a cruise, large cruise, they consume data size in shape of about 300 gig to 500 gig. Now for those cruise connectivity, we give them KU and C-band connectivity for the robust, giving them the large pool of bandwidth of 200 by 200 Mbps, which even not high throughput satellite or many times other satellite connectivity cannot provide. So there is a plethora of offering into the managed platform. Other than this, into the current trend, as he elaborated, is the sea welfare crew services. Now, one of the interesting part and the unique part to the AsiaSat Sailors platform is Sailors TV. So, whereas the LEO gives 1 gig per day, but if the sea crew start watching a one series, in 1 hour he will consume his 1 gig. So it's definitely not viable for them to consume the entire content onto the piece of maybe a 40 or 60 minutes content. So we have started pushing the linear TV channels to the vessel, and that is a real game changer because these our proprietary solutions on the broadcast do not consume the internet connectivity. So therefore they are not agnostic to the speed, but it sort of improvises the accessibility of the TV channels. Now they are real-time available onto the news 24/7, right? So those are the game-changing services that we have been offering. Other than that, we have a lot of best practices that we replicate. As Kumar mentioned, that one of the quintessential part of any maritime vessel is to not get stopped. They have to be on the chart. They can't afford to be held at a port for more than a day. If they get onto the day, they will be losing at least about, I think, if I'm not exaggerating, about $500,000. So there's a lot of revenue attached to the vessel. So therefore, ensuring the compliance, ensuring their connectivity is the key part of the providing the solution. And that lies in the compliance. So our connectivity enables the vessel owners to rightly comply and thereby giving them the services. So as a global trend, of course, we provide a multi-orbit services on the welfare of the crew. We provide the entertainment services. So we cover all this aspect. Rest of the services are pretty tailor-made to the how the company is, right, and the requirement. Because for example, the fishing vessels are very small. They don't really need a big connectivity, but they want to ensure that the connectivity is available at the right price, probably the most cheapest way, and it is available to them as and when they want it. Meaning, they want it maybe 3 months or maybe 6 months in a year. Then they are not looking at a binding a 1 year or 3 year contract. So those are kind of services that we provide at the Maritime. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. That's right, because you have to have multi-orbit services. Somewhere geo will work, somewhere LEO will work, somewhere latency issue will be there. So all that things have to be combined, and a hybrid kind of solutions shall be needed for the ships, for the marines. And okay, we have talked about applications, we have talked about the service provisioning. Now, without the equipment has to be installed on the ships. You know that environment in the ships, the weather and climate and all other things is going to be harsh. It's not going to be easy. It cannot be compared with the equipment installed on the ground. I would ask János, how your equipment shall be fitting for the maritime usage, how it is different. Are you making it slightly different, or it is the same, or your parameters are different, and you are making for the geo satellites as well as are you making for the LEO satellites also? Thank you.
Thank you. This is a good question. There is slight differences if we talk about the space segment or the ground segment. But in both cases, there are certain challenges. If we talk about space segment, what are the challenges? Nowadays, due to the advancement of the semiconductor technology and everything becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, lighter and lighter, requires less and less and less energy, and therefore the miniaturization is a key issue. And this is just from a technical point of view. That's the non-technical point of view. That is the costs, because typically, especially if you talk about LEO constellation, that's a large number of satellites are known, and therefore it should be very, very competitive, and it cannot be allowed to use class 1 components, rad-hard components. Therefore, this is a minimum requirement to be used industrial maximum automotive grade components. And certain experience and knowledge must have, and we are in a lucky situation, and we were also in the lucky situation a few decades ago, because before 1990, when the country belonged to a completely different political economic system, that we did not have access to rad-hard components, to sophisticated instrumentation. But space is space, vacuum is vacuum, radiation is radiation. Therefore, we had to learn how to build highly reliable space hardware without having access to these things. We learned that lesson, and now this is an advantage. And so these are mostly, not all of them, but the challenges.
How about the ground segment?
The ground segment, it is, you mentioned that's the environmental conditions are quite important. Everything what it is not really really good, that you can find it in a maritime conditions. Sometimes fast temperature changes, temperature extremes, and very high content of humidity, and not just simply humidity, but also some saline environment, corrosion, and these type of things. So these are the requirements. And that's, if we talk about hardware, because these are hardware, but in this modern equipment there are very much software. Fully SDR-based radio, digital radio, is a large content, this is software. And software compatibility, and also it is a challenge, or it is a requirement to be able to reconfigure the system from remote messages. And therefore, those hardware software need to be provided, should be capable and able to do that. So it's an interesting thing, but we like it.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Now I would request Jairam, because he's a licensed service provider in India, and I would just ask him to provide us some user cases, because they are doing some experiments also, and they are doing some experiments with one-web also, you are doing it, and otherwise geostationary satellites also you are providing some services. Okay.
Thanks, that's an excellent question. First of all, our core objectives when it comes to maritime, or for that matter, the first one, it stands true for any service that we deliver. One is to provide a 100% regulatory compliance service, which is quite important in the maritime space, because many vessel owners, especially vessels coming in from outside India, are not aware of the regulatory system. Today, it is very easy to have a regulatory compliance service without taking any risk, to be possible in Indian waters. So, and Indian waters is typically 200 nautical miles from the shore, as defined, as recognized by Indian government. This is the exclusive economic zone of India. And the service in these waters necessarily had to be from an Indian VSAT service provider. That is, and the operating license for that vessel or that rig in this Indian waters has to be provided by this Indian VSAT service provider. This is the crux. I mean, once you have it, then you are safe from any naval or ODAC or any DU shipping inspection. So that is one basic thing, which we try to educate. That's our first endeavor always, all our customers and prospects. Second, which is quite important, I mean, when we started this service and till recently, one thing struck me. A vessel, especially, of course, there was a delay in the traction from the Indian customers who were used to L-band, and we tried to convert them to KU-band once the IFMC authorization came into effect. when we're legally allowed to send services. But initially, the large, even now, a large setup of customers are vessels coming in from outside. Now, I mean, serviced by the global service providers, belong to ship management companies, specialty vessels, etc. etc. Now, typically, these vessels contract, when they are outside India, contract 20 Mbps, 30 Mbps, it's a mix of CAR and MIR. But when they come to India, suddenly that goes down, requirement goes down to 2 Mbps. Now, this is mainly the cost factor, because in India, till recently, and I'll tell you what has changed in the, at least from our experience, what has changed of late. The quality satellite capacity, when I say quality, means the right specs of the satellite and the right price. It is one of the most, even now maybe, but things have changed, one of the most expensive places to, satellite capacity within the world as compared to the global capacities. Now, that's what made these vessels restrict themselves. That's a huge constraint. So what we've done, and that's largely to the efforts by the regulator in space, DOT, in coming out with this open sky policy, which is still under implementation, but at least we have had some effects of benefit from that, wherein we have access, direct access. The Indian visa service provider has direct access to quality, capacity, and can negotiate directly with the satellite operator. So our endeavor has always been reduce the input cost, provide a very attractive commercial model to vessels, which can, I would say, which will in turn increase the offtake, and it's a win-win-win situation. Because as Kumar mentioned, the need for bandwidth is, I would say, more is less. I mean, we are moving towards that concept called connected ship. I mean, the ideal connected ship is, the objective is to run without any personnel, but of course that is far away. But we are moving towards that, and you need bandwidth. There are more applications, and the safety of the ship is paramount. So by having this capacity, as Kumar was mentioning, you're doing by remote access and remote diagnostics and remote maintenance, you can do preemptive work. I mean, forget proactive or reactive, preemptive. So, and of course, I'm sure they're using artificial intelligence for that, which is the AI/ML, the AIOps. So, for all this, you need quality connectivity. You need more capacity, whether it's GEO, MEO, or LEO. So, these are our core capability. Second, what we see, okay, before I come to that, we have provided services over geosynchronous satellites, and of course now LEO with Wonder, because that's the only service which is available right now through retired spectrum. We have done multiple proof of concepts on rigs, vessels, moving vessels, and the feedback has been fantastic. Because Indian customers have been starved for this quality capacity for long, and still they are not throwing away their geo satellite visa, the legacy visa, because they know that it has to be what everybody calls a multi-orbit plane. Now, it is defined by 3 factors: speed, latency, and resilience. Now, speed means you need capacity, more and more capacity. Latency means low latency. Not every application needs low latency. For example, if you're doing streaming, let's take an example of Netflix. When you log it, I know it is the most irritating part, it keeps, Netflix is quite heavy. That means there are a lot of acknowledgements going back and forth between your device and the server. Now, that needs low latency. Once you're logged in, you are then doing streaming. Then you need bandwidth. It doesn't matter whether it's a GEO or a LEO. So, and today we have very advanced SD-WAN platforms, which can, tag a particular type based on latency and link quality, a particular application to a specific type of a link. So all this is possible. That's why this multi-orbit play is coming. And resilience, as Rajdeep mentioned earlier, LEO doesn't have 100% coverage when you're talking about a global maritime trade route. So, and you can't afford to lose connectivity. You have to be connected. So that's where the GEO comes in more and more, even though LEO is, I would say, increasing its market share and crucial. And Leo is really making the life of a seafarer, seaman very easy. As Kumar mentioned, the crew welfare. I mean, today it is like they're very well connected. Now, this is the commercial shipping. Now, there is a big segment which people don't talk about. Rajdeep alluded to it very briefly, fishing boats in India. There are hundreds of thousands. Now, they are mechanized boats, there are different types of boats, but typically there are smaller vessels. You can't afford to have very expensive terminals, and the form factor of the terminal also makes a lot of, it's very important in terms of feasibility, being practically very good. That's where we have come out with our satellite IoT service, KU-band satellite IoT, we have just launched it. And it is, there are two types of terminals, very small terminals, just bigger than a laptop, and they can do their basic communication, including tracking, AIS, everything can be done. So that, you will feel that is a game changer, and that will improve the safety and life of fishermen. Again, when fishermen go for, a fishing boat goes for deep sea fishing, for weeks, the fisherman is totally out of touch from the near and dear ones. And more than that, this can be used as a productivity tool. You can actually give them weather warnings. If a squall or a cyclone is happening, we can be, their position can be tracked and they can be given prior warning. Second, they can be directed towards the right areas, I mean, hot catchment areas, where there is a more likely chance of success in terms of catch for the fish. So this is a productivity tool also for fishermen. So we are, it's a very nascent, still 6 years old nascent industry, but the potential is limitless, huge, and we firmly believe in it. And it's a matter, I mean, as a, last but not least, we have multiple platforms for providing maritime services. We are a huge organization that we have iDirect, we have Jupiter, we have various SCPC platforms on different type of satellites, and in addition to the satellite IoT or narrowband. So our objective is, as a service, we're a service provider. We have to deliver what customer wants today and maybe anticipate what they want in the near future. I'm saying near future because you can't plan for it. You never know what kind of disruptions are coming. So we are having a full-fledged managed LEO service, managed GEO service, narrowband satellite IoT service, and of course the value-added services we work because we are a regional service provider. To provide global service, we work with global service providers like AsiaSat and others to provide a comprehensive, seamless global service for our customers.
Thank you. Okay, we are running out of time. Mr. Ajay, he is also a satellite service provider or satellite operator. What is your contribution to Maritime?
All right, being a global satellite operator, so we have a fleet of satellites which cover the wide body of sea.
Do you have sufficient demand?
Yes, that's what. So the demand is phenomenal. Post-COVID, we have seen the demand has surged. Today, I would say we are not able to meet the demand. I mean, most of our beams which serve maritime markets are almost running full. Particularly our Europe beam is almost full. I mean, we work with partners like Marlin, Speedcast, who are serving this maritime industry. So they create their own global platform. So they mix and match the satellite capacities between various operators to create a global cloud. So this is an advantage as compared to the LEO. So you get a steady connectivity across various beams. So the biggest market what we see today is the luxury cruise. That's where the demand is high. And we see even these cruise demanding bandwidth up to half a gig, 300, 400 Mbps. So today we have KU and C-band. C-band we have a global beam which cover large ocean body, and that's how we are trying to meet the demands here.
Okay, I think we are running out of time. We'll have some questions from the audience, then we'll summarize and close it.
Hi, thank you so much for a very informative session. My name is Vishal Nazar, and I've been a part of the satellite fraternity for the last 27 years, worked with SES, SIA-INDIA, Pacific, currently representing PT Telkomsat of Indonesia for this region, as well as Astranis Space, a micro-geo K-band satellite platform. So thank you so much once again. My question to you is, as a satellite fraternity, It's a very interesting session, I'll tell you why. Because about 10 years back, or maybe 15 years ago, while designing the satellite beams, how satellite operators have evolved because of our approach to maritime has totally changed. That's what I'm hearing. While designing the beams 10 years ago, and just pardon me, we used to say, oh my God, the half of a beam is going wasted because it's all over the ocean, right? And so my question to you is, now it is significantly involved because of the rising demand. So any one of you, Kumar, as you rightly said, that my goal is being 6 or 8 months on sea is to get connected with my family, my friends, and Rajdeep said that content distribution, and you said watching IPL cricket live on the ocean, and Rajdeep said news. Jairam said that it's mission critical for the ocean. These are the key parameters once you enter 200 nautical miles in the Indian Ocean, yeah, right? So, according to you, which applications over the years, whether it's fisheries, it's, as you rightly said, the cruise liners, which application has created more demand in the maritime? And I mean, I know whether CK or KU band or multiple orbits, it all depends where you are, right? But which application, as per you, has in the last couple of years have raised the demand for more maritime and satellite operators to design beams? Thank you.
Mr. Kumar is the right person to answer.
Okay, in terms of application, I think the principle is very simple. In the past, we had an expensive, very narrow beam, as in terms of the bandwidth and the capacity. Today, but the demand was there, but the restriction was the fact that the cost forbade us to progress further. Today that has changed. We are now having the ability to actually have a large pipeline. So now, actually, your imagination is your only obstacle to coming up with new services. For us, when we began, the primary requirement that we had was we have a stable connection, because that became key. Connections dropping made a problem. So we achieved stability. Then we have large coverage. Now, as Rajdeep also said, we do have issues on each service. There are pros and cons. That's why we now have hybridized the services, whereby we use each one in sequence. So we have, say, for example, LEO as primary. Failover can be 4G or 5G if that service is available in that network, or it will go to VSAT. VSAT then going down to FBB, Iridium, whatever is the thing. So the amount of backups have become so huge that we are almost always connected. In terms of, to come to your thing, for us, the single biggest thing has been monitoring of vessels remotely. Safety of the vessel is paramount. So weather routing apps have been there for a while, but they have been giving information on emails. Today we have real-time support and access. We have command centers that are monitoring all our vessels. From here, from my phone, I can check the position of each vessel and all the parameters. And I can press a button and call the captain of the vessel and speak with them. So the time differential is real time. So it's that is a very key word actually. We are into almost real time on all these services. In terms of other safety, the telemedicine part is something it's rare, and we hope it stays like that. But when needed, it saves lives. And now with the environmental challenges that we are facing, it is the ability to monitor and maintain your key parameters so that you will be approved by the regulators and you can maintain your carbon footprint within the limits that you are set out to. That's the key. The rest is all bigger than bandwidth. It can be more more entertainment, more infotainment, more applications, ERP applications, all that comes in. Yeah.
I think we are already running out of time. I'll just summarize in 1 or 2 lines. The services have to be provided. The people at the sea, the crews at the sea cannot be left behind. What are the services we are experiencing at our homes, they also have to get it. How to give them the reliable communication medias, that is the space, space is the right, if it is in the deep sea. If the ship is at the port, then all the 5G, 4G services, it can be always hooked onto, and he gets the normal services. If it is at the deep sea, either through, if he wants more bandwidth, then the LEO's stream is going to in that area that it will get from LEO's. Otherwise, GEOs have the wide footprint, they'll get from the GEOs. So the hybrid kind of solutions, as of now, is a must for providing a reliable, the required bandwidth for the seas and maritime business. And with that, I think we'll close. And thank you very much for everybody and for the panelists.
Thank you so much, Chair and Moderator, Mr. Ahluwalia. It was indeed a very informative discussion. And to all the panelists, may I now request you, Mr. Chair and Moderator, to please step ahead and felicitate our panelists with memento. Mr. Kumar Sundaram, Senior Project Manager, Anglo Ship Management. Mr. Rajdeep Sinh, Gohil, Director Sales, AsiaSat. Mr. János, BHE Bonn, Hungary, Electronics. We have Mr. Ajay, Jethwani, Vice President Sales, India and Africa, ABS Global. Mr. N. Jairam, Senior Director, Hughes Communication. I now request Mr. Govindrajan, SIA-INDIA, to felicitate our wonderful chair and moderator, Mr. Ahluwalia. Thank you so much to the great audience and of course to the panelists. We will have now our session combined, not in a split room there, and we have now currently tea break after that. Okay. Thank you.